Hey guys, it's Cauliflower. I didn't know if I was going to be able to do this today, but I really wanted to. I really wanted to talk to you guys, honestly. It's very difficult to try and do something like this when you really don't have a thought process. You're just turning the camera on and you're talking. So, I guess my whole way of doing this is going to be like I'm sitting here talking. I made a video on Monday letting you guys know what went on this past weekend in my life, in my family. I lost my dad, which I'm still obviously dealing with. It's going to be a week tomorrow, which is completely insane because time has just completely stopped. But before I get into any of that, I felt really uncomfortable about making a video where I wasn't talking to you guys and I just kind of dropped information and let you know what was going on. And then I was like, okay, that's it. I'm not going to be filming this week. And let me tell you, not filming this week, it felt like I was a fish out of water. I didn't know what to do with myself. I have not been able to think straight or think clearly or, really collectively focus on anything. I've tried to, do my normal routine, and it's been impossible, which of course is expected when things like this happen. I wanted to make this video not only to just update you guys, but also to express a lot of my appreciation for a lot of the messages that have been left for me. Some people that commented on my posts, some people who've reached out to me. That's been really helpful, and I'm going to touch upon all of that. I just wanted to start out by being upfront and being honest, and in a way this is actually helping me because when you go through something like this and a loss of this magnitude, you almost feel like you're in your own little separate space and that everybody else is kind of just looking in and kind of knocking on the glass to see if you're okay or waving at you, but they really don't want to get near you because they don't know what to expect. And outside of my immediate family, which is obviously Joe and my daughter and his mom, there hasn't been too much interaction. Of course, Chris, Chris is, of course, my best friend, but he's more than that. He's my family too. And Dave has been here too. Outside of that, I haven't had anybody around me. Right now, family is very tense, and I'm not talking about my immediate, I'm talking about extended. The situation surrounding my father's death is very cumbersome right now, aside from just it being a horrible loss to myself. It's causing all sorts of rifts and just difficulties that I sort of had a feeling would be because of who it is, but I didn't know it was going to be to this magnitude. And I have a lot of different emotions about it right now, so I'm still trying to go through them. My dad died suddenly of a heart attack, as we found out yesterday. We actually found out through a relative who told my mother. But while we were trying to gather information, it seemed like we were just reaching all sorts of just brick walls, because outside of a phone call on Sunday morning informing me about it, no one has contacted me, no one has said anything to me, no one has reached out to me family-wise. The only way that anyone has reached out to me is if they were looking for information about my half-brother, which I still don't know if he even knows about this. Other than that, it's been very difficult because I'm not very close to my family. I've been out of sorts with them for a very, very long time for various reasons, and the largest reason is because I am the daughter of who I am. And it's hard to explain my dad if you didn't know him. If you did know him, you knew that he was a well-educated, brilliant, worldly, knew a lot of things and could get under your skin, and he also was very passionate and very emotional and very angry. And there's a lot of, there's a lot of things that go with that, and I won't discuss that now. I'm not at the frame of mind to go into all of the details of why my family is the way they are. At this point in time, I've decided that after I come to terms with his death, that I'm just completely cutting away from them for good. Where they would be a thought in the back of my mind, or where there would be something I would ask of if I was talking to my dad. I can't see me doing that anymore, because that whole side of me went when he was when I was told he was gone. That went. And I can't describe the feeling of just like this enormous feeling of like a ton of bricks that has been sitting on my chest all week, and I can't get rid of it. And I'm trying to just power through it and just, try not to fall into patterns of things that I've done before. I have my daughter to consider, and I have, my friends and my immediate family to consider, and I have my channel to consider, and whatever I'm going to do in this life to consider. And I know that ultimately my dad wouldn't want this, because my dad had so many difficulties and issues with this family when he was alive, and I don't want to carry on that tradition. So my father was living with my grandfather. He was his caretaker. He had gotten sick, my grandfather, but my father has also been sick. My father had cancer, colon and rectal cancer. I think I was told back in 90, maybe even earlier than that. I don't even remember. Maybe the late 80s, early 90s. I don't even remember, honestly. And our relationship was very rocky as it was, because my dad had left when I was very young. My parents divorced, and he moved on and had, his other marriages and things like that. There are other circumstances related to why he left and why he stayed away, and again, I'm not going to get into it, but when I got to be old enough as a teenager, I reached out and contacted, his family, wanting to know where he was. And the coincidental thing is, where I lived in the Bronx, my father's parents lived literally over the bridge. So there were years of confusion of why there wasn't communication, why I wasn't looked for, or that kind of thing. There were so many excuses, so many things told to me, so many, I don't even know what to believe anymore. But it set the tone for the way my relationship was with my dad, because when I did finally reunite with him, it was very strained and very difficult, and we had years of battling and years of trying to get on some sort of page where we can be father and daughter and be in harmony, and it was very difficult until my early 30s, when having a child of my own, and I was able to involve my family again, involve my dad again, involve everybody, my grandparents, my aunts, uncles, what have you. And for a little while it was nice. But just like anything else, when certain members of family die, there goes those family members. And it started with my grandmother, which was my dad's mom, and now my grandfather, who's about almost 90 years old, who's been very ill and was being taken care of by my dad, not my grandfather, but my dad. Just things were difficult, very hard. This next part is even harder. For a while, I used to call my dad all the time. I relied on my dad for strength for everything. Anything I went through, any difficulty I went through, whether it was with parents, breakups, just general life, I went to my dad. And I would talk to him for hours, and I didn't want to do this, but he knew everything there was to know about me without even me being in the same room. And that could be a twofold. That could be a real pain in the ass, and that can be something that is just so comforting and so keeps you together, keeps you going in life, and he did do that for me. You know, he was always there when I could not describe things for myself. He would know how to do that. He would know how to pull those things out of me. On the low side of that, he also would know how to jar things out of me that I didn't want jarred out of me. And that could be anything from past loves, anger towards my mother, feelings about, my current life, my current relationships, other people that affected me, arguments, all sorts of things. He would pull things out in me that I didn't want. And he was good for that because my dad, his long line of credentials, he was sort of like a psychologist, I guess. But I resented that for many years because I just wanted to be his daughter. I didn't want to be his patient. I didn't want to be his cadet. I didn't want to be his student. I didn't want to be, the person on his couch. I just wanted to be his daughter, and he treated me like all of those things that I mentioned because he was an administrator for college. He worked a cadet program. He worked a suicide hotline program. He was a notarized writer. I mean, he did a lot of things in his life that still to this day I'm probably not even aware of. But, he wanted me to know how accomplished he was, and he wanted me to be proud of how accomplished he was, and I am. I mean, I was amazed that I even came from this because of the struggles I've had in my own life. But my dad single-handedly was always, no matter what, always in my corner. Always. No matter what it was. Didn't matter what it was, good, bad, or indifferent. Even if I was wrong, he was in my corner. And the last that I spoke to him was 2 months ago. And, you look back on things and you say, woulda, shoulda, coulda, and what's the point of that? We had a really good talk for a while. But with my dad, things can get deep, and we can go back in time and talk about the past, and that got mentioned, and a painful time got mentioned, and I sort of just had this, need to just, let him know that this was enough. I was tired of hearing about this, and he needed to know how I felt, and I kind of unloaded on him, and that was the last I spoke to him in life. I feel horrible, and then I don't, if you can believe that. Because I know my dad wouldn't want me to feel horrible, because it's almost like once he left the world, he almost jumped into my body. Because let me tell you something, guys, I don't feel like myself at all. I feel like just the shell, the outside, it looks like me, but the inside is completely different. It feels very hollow at one point, and then it feels very almost like there's a steel trap in there, and then it feels very confining, like something is squeezing me and just not letting me go, and I don't know how to deal with that, so I'm just kind of just rolling with the punches right now, and I'm just going with it for the sake of probably not breaking down. Maybe this is his strength in me. I don't know. I don't have answers right now. Getting to say a real goodbye to him, because in this family, none of this family is financially set. None of us are, okay? And my dad, in his last few years of life, he wasn't working. He wasn't collecting any kind of insurance. He wasn't collecting any kind of state. He did not want to do that. He didn't want to go get anything that had to do with the government helping him or the state helping him. He decided he was going to just exist with whatever was there. And so therefore, whatever means was there, that's what he lived on. My grandfather had a very low income. That's what they lived on. They lived in this tiny little apartment that my grandparents had been living in for 40 years. They lived in this tiny little apartment, and somehow my dad made it work. And he took care of my grandfather, sick, cleaned up after him, fed him, bathed him, fixed things in the house, what have you. And, I guess in a way it's a comfort that he died there too, that he was on the couch, apparently watching TV, slumped over, and that was it. I will never know what was going on in his mind? What was he thinking? You know, what were his thoughts? I won't know that. And it has not hit yet, and I'm waiting for it to hit me. But the other thing is that he's already been buried. And my family has decided, because of the fact that there is no financial backing, to bury him in a place where I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, what's called Potter's Field, where is people go that are John Does, that are war, you know, veterans, the indigent, the unknowns. That's where they put my father. I cannot even begin to describe, to tell you guys the amount of resentment that has been coming through me, and I'm trying to be a decent human being and trying not to even allow it to do what it has been occupying in my mind for the past 24 hours, that I've known this information, because I just got this information yesterday. Today is Friday. That's how I found out my dad died of a heart attack. That's how I found out that his body was transferred to a hospital, that there was a autopsy, and this is what the result was, and that he is already dead, buried in the ground, just like it never happened. I have to live with that for the rest of my life. But the one thing that does comfort me is I hear him in my head. As crazy as that sounds, I hear him in my head, and I know he didn't want ceremonies, services. He didn't want church. He didn't want anything. He didn't. This is what he was like. Okay, guys, he was difficult. This is what he was like. And I know that, you know, you say people don't take things literally. Well, with my dad, people took things literally, obviously. For me, I went halfway. I went 50-50. I took him halfway literally and halfway that he was just hurt, and this is how he expressed himself. So I get it. And for me, I wasn't going to allow anybody to be hypocritical about his death. I certainly was not going to allow something that I know he did not want to transpire. I don't know right now how I am this, how I'm going to close this, I'm going to be able to do something in his memory. But another thing I'm being given a difficult time about is his possessions. Now, he had nothing monetary, he had nothing that was worth anything, but what he did have that was worth something to me is every picture. Sorry about that, guys, the phone rang. What's worth it to me was every picture, every, I sent my dad all of my old journals and things because, you know, during harder times with me, you know, I trusted him so much with my thoughts, my deepest inner thoughts, that I wanted him to read things I went through. I wanted him to, you know some of the things, and he had those. And I just want what I know, what I had with my dad, down to even his clothes. Yes, I do want his clothes. I want his writings. I want the pictures. He had nothing else. This is all he had in his life. And even that right now, I'm struggling because they're in plastic bags in my grandfather's house, and I'm being told that I can't get them because my grandfather is having a difficult time and holding on to them and doesn't know what he's going to do and wants to make his own decisions, which I have to unfortunately respect, even though I did communicate that I do want these things and that they do mean something to me, and I think I should have them, and I think my dad would have wanted me to have them, but right now, as it stands, I can't even have that. So, this is where it's at, guys, and it's so hard to explain this kind of a thing and tell the world that this is the way your parent is leaving the world, and you can't do anything about it, and you can't even honor him in the way you want to because people aren't allowing it right now. And that is the worst part of it all. It's not the loss, even though he's gone and there's no way of getting him back and all. It's just the way that people are while it's happening. You would think at this time that nobody would give me a hard time and be like, you know what, it's his daughter, just let her. But no, no, it's not. This isn't. There's a no. I don't know why the camera stopped, but there's no living will. There's no money. There's nothing. There's just his, the clothes on his back that he had and some things that were bought for him and pictures and, notes, papers, writings. Those things are important to me. But this is where it stands as of now, as of today. So that's where I'm at with it now, guys. And so you can probably imagine that my brain hasn't really been involved in much, but I have been on YouTube. I have been watching other people's videos because that's been kind of like, a time passer, to get my mind off things. And I haven't, I read all of the comments on my last video. And I just want to say, because this isn't something that I do normally, I'm so appreciative of everybody's sentiments and comments. And I really do mean this with everything in me. I really do appreciate some of you that wrote to me and extended, even more of just a comment. You told me about that, you've lost parents, or that, you know what it feels like, and that you're praying for my family and you're praying for me. And I am just, I don't have words. I really don't have words to say how that little bit helps, and, also, I wanted to say, in lieu of all of the stupidity that has gone on the past couple of months, with fallouts with people and losing friends, and, the drama that has gone on, my channel, whoever, other, you know what I mean. I've spoken about it on Periscope. I've spoken about it in certain videos that I took down, and not just one person, but I wanted to say that I really do appreciate Nikki for contacting me and for also talking to me. She has no idea the 2 conversations we did have, how she helped. And I just wanted to thank her. Also, I wanted to thank Lizzie Whoop Whoop, yes, the Lizzie Whoop Whoop, and I'm not even going to get into it, all right? I just want to say I thank her, because regardless of what anybody says, thinks, I don't care right now. This is about how I feel about her. She has got to be probably the most genuinely sweet, most real, emotional person that I can relate to on YouTube. And that's not because her and I are like, we're in cahoots with each other. This is the first time I've ever heard from Lizzie in I don't even know how long. And she was really nice, and she thanked me for reaching out to her a while ago. And, I ended up telling her, and she was just very sweet, and her sentiments were very nice, and I appreciate what she said, and I'm leaving it at that. Karina, I do appreciate as well. She contacted me. I didn't answer her back, and I'm sorry, Karina. I wanted to do this first. I wanted you guys to see. I just, words behind a typewriter, behind a phone, on Facebook. Celeste, I have to thank Celeste. Celeste has been, she's been really there for me this past month. Not just with this. She's just a really good friend. She's been a really good friend, and I adore her, and I appreciate her. Paige from the Paige Alicious, she shouted me out in her last video, which I appreciate. Keo, my friend Keo Kane, that I just talked about in my last small channel shoutouts. This is what I mean about when you give somebody a little appreciation, what it can mean for you, because he's been just so, again, his words are encouraging as it is, and he sent me, he's been really encouraging, and he posted something really nice I saw on Facebook, and Clef Nose, I think that's his name, he's another one who is really sweet. So there's just some people that you really realize have good hearts, and I really, really, and of course, my best friend, Liz, she's the first at the top of that list. She treats me like she treats me all the time. She doesn't treat me like I'm broken glass. Thank you very much for that. And she's appreciated and loved more than she even knows. And then there's my boy. There's Chris, and I don't know what I would do without him. I don't know what I would do without Joe, who's been my backbone, who's been my strength throughout this whole week. He's done things I've asked of him that are very difficult to do in dealing with my family, in putting up with their bullshit, and just, letting me bawl my eyes out to him. And, he lost his dad 15 years ago, and almost in the same way. So, it was hard for him. He was the one who had to tell me. And, his mom has been really great. And, I gotta stop. But I just wanted everybody to know that I really, truthfully appreciate everybody's sentiments and everybody's, words. So, with that being said, this was the first time I filmed in a week, and I've had my stuff, not a lot of it, but it's my stuff that I get during the week pile up in my room, and I'm like, I can't just leave it there. So I'm going to try and film a Friday video for you guys. I wanted to also say about, I know I'm aware of some of my giveaways have we're supposed to end this week. The Follow Cleanse. I'm going to extend the Follow Cleanse till next week. So you guys have one more week on that one. As far as the perfume giveaway, I am going to end it. I'm going to announce the winner on Monday, and I am going to shoot my Q&A with Chris over the weekend. Just not going to do it live on Periscope right now because I don't want to do that. I think it's best if I'm at his house and, just get a little bit of wine in me and get those questions and, do it that way. And this way, it'll take my mind off things and we can probably have fun with it. And you guys can, join in the fun and what have you. So I'm slowly going to try and get back into my routine. I will admit to you guys that I've been feeling very just blank. I haven't been doing much. I've been trying to here and there because God knows, right now I need all I can get. I need to keep busy. I need to make some money. I need to, I need to be involved. I need to be cheered up. I've got to, I just have to keep moving and keep going, because if I allow myself a moment of just, blankness, which I've had a lot of this week, I've been just sitting in bed or just, sitting outside, and and I can't do that. I can't fall into non-function land. So with your help of just a little encouragement and motivation, I'm going to do what I can do. I don't know how often. I've got an influencer box that came this week, and I've got a few things, and of course, like I said, I am going to be doing the Q&A. I've been talking about it. I really want to do it now, even more so than ever. And so that's it. All right, guys. I just wanted to update you and to thank you and to let you know what's been going on and what will be going on. And I will see you really soon. Bye.